if I'm okay. I don't see the light of day. Looking up to higher ground, thinking that'll be your sweet escape. These days gotta schedule the romance. They say that love is a slow dance. A short bike ride to the crib, using no hands. Oh shit, it feel like I'm floating, but I'm falling with both eyes closed when I let the world spin. Testing the water, she got my nerves tense. Back when I ain't even have a purpose, I was so eager to learn some things. Anxiety bring out the worst in me. Society paint me as enemy. My niggas making it by that remedy. I'm more occasional, don't do it regularly. Backs under my eyes, weighing down heavily. Mama been worried, the devil allegedly deep in the plan. Subconsciously wanted it since I was 10. I thought I was sharp on my scroll and my pen think it did. So mama found she to them legs. She told me that's not who I am. But nowadays I put on for the fam, see her when I can. I'm surrounded by my feelings, I'm stuck on a Ferris wheel. I bet I perish with 140 acres. She want the horse and the carriage, a porcelain portion of garbage. I talk to the mirror, I know that life's not the fairest. I lost my can, I can't pay off the bills with the blessing. Not sure I relate to the red and pink.
Well, first of all, listen, it's interesting about all these young guys today. They never call on us and say, hey, thanks for the kind word and telling me how great a player I am. But when they play like crap and we call them out, we don't know what we're talking about. Listen, I'm easy to find.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your host, Big Nate Sports Talk, Nathan Snell, back at you with another video presentation. I hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all staying safe. Hope you all had a great week and have something planned for the weekend. Before we get into the video, there's a few things I'd like to say up front. Ladies and gentlemen, to my left, your eyes don't deceive you. It is the man with the plan, Herndon's finest, the man, the myth, the legend, the mentor, the one half of that dynamic duo. Let's talk football. My guy, Sean Spencer. What's up, buddy?
Yo, I was hyped already, and then I had that intro. What? I was like, yo, in the club, yo. I was like, yo, let me go back in the green room real quick. I want to see that video. That was dope, man. Yo, great job on that.
I'm gonna definitely send you the artist from the shout out to Canva.
Oh yeah,
loving the music Canva has. I'm gonna definitely send you the artist for that.
Okay, bet. I like that.
Definitely send it to you. But a couple things before we get into it. Episode 16, me and my Sean will be back. We're gonna do the AFC. We're doing the NFC Conference preview. So the Washington Mystics Thursday, Coach T finally had his end of the season media call after practically 2 weeks. It finally happened. So be tuned in for that video. Brendan Potts, he's going to be back on tomorrow evening. We're going to recap his Seattle Storm losing to the Las Vegas Aces, and the Connecticut Sun did the unthinkable. Mm-hmm. They advanced to the finals. They're saying this since 2019. I'm excited for this. It's going to be a great finals matchup. And then also to really be tuned in for Washington Commanders and Baltimore Ravens previews. Washington, we play Jacksonville, and Baltimore, we got New York. So be tuned in for those videos as well. Maryland basketball, the women's and men's schedule has been released. I know particularly the women. I think the men's, I believe it should already be up, but definitely be tuned in for that as well. But let's get into it. Football. Well, it was here yesterday. Mm-hmm. It was a good game. I was expecting more of a better outcome than what I saw.
So was everybody else.
I'll be honest. It's great. It's good to have football back.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, absolutely.
And it's interesting looking at these teams, Sean. And I'm coming to you, like. I feel like this was an off season where I think everybody kind of got a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you got to go even down to, the perennial losers of the league in New York, and they both happen to reside in New York. One in the Jets and one in the Giants. We know what happened with the Jets in that draft. I mean, Sauce Gardner, Jermaine Johnson. You know what I mean? Like, big time picks like that, and then you also got the Giants. The Giants got 2 major picks themselves. So look, everybody, like you said, got better. And this is, I mean, look, we've dived into the offseason this year more than I can remember at any particular point in my lifetime. You know what I mean? We really went at this from a lot of different angles, be it from the draft, the scouting, to the off-season, free agents, everything like that. So I'm really excited to see. And I think this game was, you know, kind of like a microcosm of what we were expecting. Buffalo they're stacked. They got Von Miller. They got a lot of different pieces, and we saw they're still bitter about losing the playoff game.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The Rams, maybe, hey, we saw Tom Brady had that avocado tequila, and they didn't get back to the Super Bowl. So maybe their Rams are on that stuff, man. Stafford's like, look, I just won. I gotta be back already. Come on, man. I was in Detroit for years, man. Look, I need 2 years to celebrate my Super Bowl. Like, come on now.
and it was interesting too. I didn't realize until I saw it on Bleacher's Report that he had gotten elbow surgery in the offseason.
Mm-hmm. Tendonitis.
So, I didn't realize that. I mean, really quick. Let's just talk about the game for a couple minutes. I mean, like you pretty much said it. You know, Buffalo, you know, were 13 seconds away from beating Kansas City, and it was Tyreek Hill putting up the deuces on their season, and I think they did it pretty good in the offseason. Like, to get Von Miller, Tre'Davious White, we're hoping he should be back week 4-ish.
Right.
Still recovering from his injury, but they're still holding down the fort.
Right.
They've got their defense is stacked. I think the offense is a little bit better for Buffalo. Josh Allen, I'm putting a guarantee on it. Josh Allen will be league MVP.
Guaranteed.
Look
I think the Bills are on a mission this year. I think this is their year. And the fact they're going into a new stadium as well, I'm glad that they finally resolved that. I'm coming to you. What did you see from the game from Buffalo, even the Rams? Like, what did you see? Even though we know it's the first game of the season, we still got 16 games to go. But what were your takeaways?
First and foremost, we have a new stiff arm king, and that's that quarterback Josh Allen.
Yep.
Yo, he stiff armed my man through the ground. You remember you're a wrestling fan. You remember when what was it, Taz and Bam Bam Bigelow, and Taz had that chokehold and they put him back through the mat? That's what he did. He stiff armed dude all the way through the ground. It was crazy, man. And you know, he gave him put 2-piece on there, but they look like they're in midseason form. Yep. Okay, look, they remember a year ago losing to the Steelers, and everybody thought they were going to be this last year. Yep. Now they made a statement. They are telling everybody, we're coming out here. We are, going for blood. This is what it is, and everybody can catch it. And as we saw, the defending Super Bowl champions did. But I mean, if we're going to break this down a little bit more, honestly, we know about what the Rams lost. Rams do not have OBJ. Rams don't have Whitworth. They're all pro tackle. They have rookies along the left side of that line. So you got Von Miller, that addition, that switch sides. It's funny because in pregame he was talking about, he was getting warmed up at the Rams side. He was like, "Oh snap, I got to go over to Buffalo side. I'm not with the Rams anymore." So you got him looking like he's 25. You know what I mean? Albeit he being the age that he is, and they just looked good. And then, like I said, with OBJ on the offense, look, OBJ, for all the shenanigans or forever good or not good he demands attention. When you have that guy over there, and then you got Cooper Kupp on this side,
Von Jefferson as well.
Yeah, exactly. And so you didn't have OBJ last night. You didn't have Von Jefferson last night. Allen Robinson looked like he didn't get in the system. He just did not get in there yet. So that to me was that was something that I think remains to be seen. But I want to bring this to you because we talked about this before. Somebody that really everybody's been talking about all season, and they've been talking about all year. He's the greatest. He's this and that. The
Right.
last about 6 to 8 quarters I've seen, Jalen Ramsey is getting torched. They putting in that work on him. They did it to him in the playoffs a year ago, and they did it the other night. And he wanted to get all in people's face and talk stuff. And Diggs cooked him. So, I mean, I respect his ability. He's a great corner, but is he that guy anymore?
I mean, Jalen Ramsey's going to bring it every night with opponents, but I've learned that you got to let your play do the talking.
Yep.
I just think that, now you got the ring. Now you kind of like, I'm good. And I've seen Jalen Ramsey have games like that. I never forget when the Baltimore Ravens played. We played when he was in Jacksonville, actually. The Ravens had played them. Steve Smith burnt him like toast to the point where he was just saying stuff like in the locker room, like, did he really be he embarrassed you that bad? You're saying all these things about him,
right?
So
right.
I just think that wide receivers, especially when you match up with him, you have to outthink him with your game, and if you outthink him with your game, you pretty much have him defeated. But I was surprised to see like the night that he had. I mean, the fact that you let and listen, Stephon Diggs, University of Maryland, love him. For him to get up in your face like that, he needs to really check himself, Jalen Ramsey. I like Jalen Ramsey, but this don't win games.
That's the problem, because if you look at the other side, they're dealing with the rookie out of Florida, Kaiir Elam. You know what I mean? And another young guy at corner. And they're holding down the receivers and everything to only 10 points and everything. And Ramsey's getting torched all, you know what I mean? So that's why again, this is overreaction Friday, if you will. You know what I mean? Because it's the day right after. So this is a long season, just like you said. We shall see. But this is the big time game against the big time guys, and that's happening to you, bro. You got some answers. You got some questions to answer, my friend.
Definitely. But let's definitely get more. Let's dive deeper into the meat and potatoes, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start with the NFC North. This is arguably probably the most interesting division. If I was a player, I would probably not consider play for NFC North, only because it's really you
Black
can
and blue.
It's starting to be open. Like the Green Bay Packers for years dominated this division. Then it was Chicago. Then it was Minnesota. We're going to start with the Green Bay Packers. Now, obviously, looking at the Packers, I think the biggest loss was Devontae Adams. The last 3 years they won the NFC North, and you can make an argument that they are in pace to go for the fourth. And Aaron Rodgers has won the league MVP 2 straight years. They have a defense that's respectable, but the issue that I have is that when I look at Green Bay, I'm confused on the offense, because now you're going to lean more on AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones on the ground. Like, no disrespect, I like Valdez-Scantling, Alan Lazard. But
that Scaling is at KC.
KC, I'm sorry. I apologize. No, so he left Green Bay. I apologize. You still have Randall Cobb. I mean, help me out, Sean. Like, what would he like? I have them winning the NFC North, but it's not. It's going to be close.
No, you asking the wrong one, man. Because I'm right there with you. I'm like, I don't know who you're going to throw to. Lazard, he's doubtful for week 1 against the Vikings. Randall Cobb, I mean, this is the ghost of his old self. You know what I mean? You got Rodgers, you got some rookies, you got the guy Watson out of North Dakota State. I mean, we can see what he does. I guess at the end of the day, the X factor has to be the back-to-back. And what? How many MVPs does he have overall?
I think this is his 3rd.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you have to rely on that guy. He's a bad man. He's the best pound quarterback in the league for a reason. You have to rely on
fourth MVP.
Right. You got to start. You like you said, you got a defense that you're returning. You got an O-line that you're returning. They got to the divisional round of the playoffs, and for all intents and purposes, had their special teams not let them down, they should have won that game. And they had that with Bakhtiari was out. Their best Alexander was out. Major pieces were out, and I get that they had Devontae Adams, but as you've seen, when he's taken out of the game, they still were producing somewhat. Right. So I'm just thinking, Green Bay, I might be a little bit more generous, maybe give them a 11-6, just because this division is outside of
it's bad.
I mean, it's not great, man.
And that transitions us to the next team. Not the Baltimore Ravens purple eaters, but the real purple eaters, the Minnesota Vikings.
You like that? You like that?
Okay, where do I begin? So, new head coach.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Kevin O'Connor. I think he's now the new head coach, taking over from Mike Zimmer. You still got Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, still reliable. That defense that you invested in last year, didn't like it. You got Sedarius Smith, Jordan Hicks. You still got Eric Kendricks, Danielle Harrison. It looks like they're going to run a 3-4 defense. The defense is the question. I think the offense is okay. I know Thielen is a year older. Tyler Conklin left from for the Jets, but I'm really curious to see you, like they were at one point a respected defense in Minnesota. Now they're going to have to figure this out now. With a new system and new identity. Yeah. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, they're going to have to. I personally think their offense is going to be pretty elite. I mean, people are saying Jefferson's one of the top 3 receivers in the league, and I'm believing that. Thielen, I know he's a year older, but in my opinion, man, he's still a threat, man. He's still a threat, and I think that two-headed monster with a healthy Dalvin Cook this year. Cousins could put up numbers. We know he loves his numbers. He can put up over 4,000. He had midway through the year last year, he was 21 touchdowns and 2 interceptions or something like that. Yep. So he can still play. But I have concerns with their defense as well. I mean, I don't think they did a lot to really remedy that issue. And this is going to be a case of Cousins trying to outscore everybody. Yep. And, can you get the ball last? And then we already know how Cousins is in the clutch. But, hey, he's getting better. He has the talent to do it. So right now it's kind of on him. He's got the money, so it's not – I don't need to prove anything. But at the same time, this is your time. The Packers are down, I guess you can say, without any main big-time receivers. This is your time to shine. So I agree, wild card. And, I think they're going to challenge for that. Yeah, they're going to be up there with him.
Yeah,
I think they have the best shot of any of the other teams.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I'm gonna give you the floor on this next team. Shout out to Nick Rosario and Delilah Crespo. Those Bears in the Windy City of Chicago.
Look, man, look, you being nice, man. You giving them 7 wins. That's so nice of you. Is it Christmas already, man? Because they ain't getting 7. Look. We know what they did last year. They got Justin Fields. We know this year, obviously, got rid of the trash in the front office and the coach. They brought in football people. And for that, they are changing the culture. They're switching things up. Yep. From what I've heard from, Nick and Delilah, they're really holding people accountable. They're, got rid of my guy, Daz Newsome, out of North Carolina. But, that's a good thing. You're getting to the point where you're trying to rise above. This year ain't going to be the year for them. We've seen that. And the problem is we know they have draft picks and we know they have a bunch of money coming into next year. Yeah, the problem is what you want to have Justin Fields in there. You want him to be your guy, but he's going to get sacrificed this year. Sadly. You don't have a line. Shout out to Montgomery. He's solid, but your number 1 receiver, Allen Robinson, is with the Rams. He played last night.
And Allen Robinson disappointed.
Right. And then so your number one receiver is Darnell Mooney, who great receiver. He's solid, definitely a good up and coming guy. But you know, if the defense has to just lock him down, who else you got?
Cole
Komet, right, out of Notre Dame. You know, I mean, I'll give you that, but he doesn't really strike fear.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So you really, it's going to be interesting to see what their offense does. And then on the defense, I mean, look, Hicks is gone. Khalil Mack is gone. Roquan Smith most likely is going to be gone.
After this season. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it just doesn't look good for the Bears this year. And I know they're building up for next year, but it's going to be a tough one. In my opinion, I think it's going to be tough for them.
The reason why I gave them 7 wins and defend, like, because I understand that Chicago is rebuilding, but particularly with you still got some vets on this team, and like I don't see them just laying down and just going, oh well, we're going to be the worst team in the league. Yeah, like they've got football people in there that know what they're doing, right? And you've got Justin Fields, who, to me, has shown that he can lead your team, but you hit it on the head. It's you got all this money going up for next year, so let's figure out who we keep. Let's build around this core, and hopefully we get some guys in free agency, and still build through the draft. But also too, those 7, like I said, 7 wins because they could probably beat teams that are probably go, oh, it's Chicago. It's not that. Look, like last year, I'll use Baltimore again. Thank God, like they almost beat us, and I'm just saying, like I could see Chicago. If you push me, I'll say 5-11. I'll say 5-12. If you push me.
Look, I agree. And I think they're playing. I think they're playing for next year, but rightfully so. They're heading in the right direction. Let's just say that.
Yep. I'm going to give you the next team. The Detroit Lions.
The Detroit Lions. I can't say it out loud. Man.
Last year, Dan Campbell, it was his first year. They struggled, but what's interesting, they still kept playing. They still kept going out there and giving maximum effort, and they had their first episode of Hard Knocks, a great episode. Where are you thinking this team looks? Armar St. Brown, fantasy football, cheat code. You get DeAndre Swift. Mr. Jared Goff. Like, what do you think this Lions team looks like this year? What is your take?
Well, look, I ragged on you when you came on Washington Football Weekly Wednesday nights, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it.
Yes, sir.
But I got on you when you said you put in our comments that one night, Jared Goff for Pro Bowl. But you know what? To be quite honest with you, with the weapons that you just talked about, Amon-Ra St. Brown is a solid wide receiver. You got a nice line with Penei Sewell up there and getting other pieces. And then you talk about Swift. You talk about Jamal Williams, the guy that used to be in Green Bay, who is, I love his passion. I love what he brings to the table. Yes. You know what I mean? And then, let's not forget about TJ Hawkinson, one of the best tight ends. Right. One of the best tight ends in the league. So you have an offense that can make things happen. And they had the number 2 pick in the draft. Shout out to Katie. You know who they got. They got Aiden Hutchinson. He showed his first play of preseason where he swam move one of the veteran linemen and made the tackle. He did what he needs to do. I am really excited about what they're bringing to the table. And you talk about coaching. Look, we know about Dan Campbell. They have coaches that used to be players. You know what I mean? As their coaches. Aaron Glenn. I mean, come on with your corners. So I'm eager to see what they bring to the table. I think this is where I would swap them in Chicago. I think Detroit's going to be much improved. I think Detroit's going to shock some teams in this division and in the league. But I'm like you. I don't think they're there yet. But I think they're going to be a little bit more improved. I'm only saying like a game more, but I do think they're going to be improved. and they are another team that's maybe a year or two away if they can keep on this trajectory.
Yep. And then also too, they, I'm looking at some of the moves they made. They got a couple of guys from us from Baltimore, Chris Board and Deshaun Elliott. They also picked up Mike Hughes, DJ Shark. The only player I would say significant on the defensive side of the ball they lost was Trey Flowers, who's now with the Miami Dolphins, painfully. But you said it. I mean, they got some dogs. Mike Hughes. They've got. I'm not. You know what? I will swap that too. I will say the Lions will have a better. I'll say the Lions will have a better record than the Chicago Bears. I'll say that. That's fair. That's a good point, Sean. And also too, I mean, this is what we're talking about in the beginning, in the introduction. Like, you see guys that know football and really making the necessary adjustments to make their team better.
Right.
And you look at Detroit, you know, for example, that's what we're looking for in Chicago for the future. That's what we want to see. Let's move into the NFC East. This one, everybody's kind of been on the Philadelphia wagon.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm a fan of Jalen Hurts. I'm just kind of a little confused where now everyone's on the wagon, but then last year they were like, "Oh, you need to trade him." So I'm a little confused with that. Yeah. But the Eagles, I like the acquisition of A.J. Brown, which is now your default number wide receiver. You still got Devontae Smith. Yep. Miles Sanders is projected to be the number one running back. The defense for Philadelphia, stacked. This is Philadelphia's divisions to win. This is also the division to lose. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, I agree. I think they've made the necessary moves in the offseason. And look, Jalen Hurts, for everybody that hates on him for his maybe inability to be accurate or throw the way they want to, look, we'd all want him for his legs. You know what I mean? He was, one of the top runners in the NFC last year. You know what I mean? So we got to definitely respect him for what he brings to the table. Yeah. And when you have those weapons, Devontae Smith, who had like over 600 yards, A.J. Brown, we know what kind of ability he has. You talk about Miles Sanders. Let's check out Kenneth Gainwell. Out of Memphis. You know, man, like he's a solid back. He's going to get a lot of action this year. Dallas Goedert at tight end. That offense is built to have success in a struggling NFC East. So I'm with you. And I'm not going to lie to you. I don't even want to talk about that defense. I don't want to talk about Nakobe Dean, Big Baby Davis, Fletcher Cox. God. You know what I mean? I don't even want to talk. That's just the line right there. Like, I don't want to talk about that. I am excited. Go ahead.
I'm excited. But I think also, too, you hit it also as well. It all depends on how Jalen Hurts develops this year. That's the key. That's the key. But this Eagle team, on paper, it's scary. Right. It's scary.
Right.
It's definitely scary. The next team we're going to move on to, shout out to Ash Swinton, David Wright, and Janae Struther.
Mediocre team and Big D. That's what makes this funny. How about the Cowboys? How about the Cowboys? Some way, somehow, when it counts, just wait. They will let you down. The accident, they will mess it up. Just wait. The accident, they will let you down. Just wait. The accident, waiting to happen. It will happen. I'm predicting they're gonna be irrelevant. I'm predicting an absolute embarrassment for the last decade and a half. They make me laugh. All the talent that they have is unbelievable, man. Big D, teasing you. This is what they do. Walking through, we show up on cue. Accident, something will go wrong. The accident of the big Jumbotron. Accident, gotta recognize it's a black cat running around that franchise. Stay with accident, they will mess it up. Just wait. The accident, they will let you down. Just wait. The accident, waiting to happen. It will happen. How about the Cowboys?
The accident waiting to happen. Wow.
Look, with all due respect, Dallas is a talented team, but like I've heard Jerry holds the team back, but like they just can't seem to get over the hump. Like I like looking at this team this year, that offense looks a little different. You know, you don't have Amari Cooper. Cedric Wilson's gone. I mean, you still have CeeDee Lamb. You did sign James Washington, but he broke his foot. So he's going to be out 6 to 10 weeks. Michael Gallup's recovering from a torn ACL. So you're relying on Dalton Schultz, Ezekiel Elliott, and it was a Traylon Smith tackle. He's going to be out for 10 weeks because of the injury he suffered. Yeah. Something about, I think it was behind the calf. I can't remember the name of the injury, but it was like where do you see Dallas, Sean? Where do you see this team?
Well, look, they still got pieces. Look, let's first and foremost, Dak Prescott, and yes, Cowboys fans, I'm saying this, Dak Prescott is by far the best quarterback in this division. Yes, I think, in my opinion, hands down. And that's even with who we were able to acquire. So as long as you have Dak, he's going to roll. But to your point earlier about to us, our conversation about the quarterback being the highest paid, when your quarterback and your running back are making the money they make, there's going to have to be cuts elsewhere. You talk about Amari Cooper leaving. The money that he ended up getting wasn't that much more than what Dallas could have given him. Right. But Dallas didn't want to do that. And then you talk about Gallup, James Washington is hurt. Look, I think they're going to have a breakout guy, Jalen Tolbert out of South Alabama. I think he's going to make some things happen. Pollard, we know how he does backing up Zeke. He always, normally gets his number, a great change of pace. So, but this team is going to be relying on their defense. It's going to be relying on their defense. We know they lost Randy Gregory, but they still have Micah Parsons, who is one of the top 2 picks for NFL Defensive Player of the Year next year, or this coming year. Trayvon Diggs, who, yes, he is burnt toast a number of times, but on the other side of that burnt toast, it is a beautiful, beautiful piece of bread because he is dominant on that. Yes. But it's 50-50 completely.
I agree.
So look, I can agree with this. Nothing would make me happier than for them to get to the playoffs and lose in the first week again. But I think they're going to fall off. I would pick this, but if you pushed me, I would almost say maybe an 8-9 or something like that, because I just think with their injuries, with Gallup just getting back, and they said he's looking good. They ended up, I know they've been talking, pretty sure they picked up Jason Peters, the old tackle from Philly. So that's going to help solidify their line, or at least it's supposed to. He's had issues with his size and some of those guys that get real low on him. So we will see what they do. But look, I mean, they're going to take 2 L's to Washington. We already know that. I'm not even gonna skip a beat on that one. So because we want Dallas, let's go ahead, book it, clip it, do what you got to do. You know what, Nate? Give me the guarantee, baby.
Guarantee.
Yeah, I'm saying it right here, right now.
Let's go.
Okay, this victory parade is going to be all season after that.
Let's get it. That's what I love it. And that brings my. And I'm so glad you said that. It transitions into the next team. I'm gonna give you the floor. Talk to the people, man.
Let them know, baby. Let them know, baby. Washington Commanders, baby. We're here. We're ready to go. I love 10-7. That's where I see us in the wild card, potentially getting the W and moving on. Look, starts with the QB. We got him, Carson Wentz, 27-7. I've been saying it all off season. Finally, now we're going to be able to say a new stat line, and I'm excited for it. He's got the most amount of weapons that he's had on offense at any particular point in the league. Yes, he had great teams with the Eagles. and he had a great team last year with the Colts, but he's got 2 solid running backs, okay, and 3 if prayers for Brian Robinson, everything. Locked up Scary Terry, one of the best receivers in the league, in my opinion. Curtis Samuel, healthy, he's dangerous. You know what I mean? Rookie Jahan Dotson, what best hands in the draft, they're saying. This guy is electric. You know what I mean? So you have that. Logan Thomas, we're getting him back. Got John Bates, Cole Turner. Our tight ends are going. Our line is sustainable. There's guys getting injured, is moving back and forth, but it's sustainable. It's getting good. Look, I am very excited for our offense, our production, because I'm looking at it like we were saying with the Jared Goff stuff. We're going to get points. I think our offense is going to score points, and it's going to, they're going to have a good season. The defense, on the other hand, is going to struggle. I love our D-line. I love our D-line. I'm telling you this right now. Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, Montez Sweat. I love those guys. And then Jonathan Smith Williams on the other end. Chase ain't going to be back until at least midway through the year. I mean, I'm saying around the bye week, because it's probably about week 8. So we're going to have to go without that. Right now, we got John Bostic back, but we're working with Holcomb, and we're working with Jamin Davis. We're all expecting him to be better, but it has to happen on a consistent basis during the season. You know what I mean? It's great to see it in preseason, but once it counts, now let's see how it plays out. But our secondary, Cameron Curl, thumb issue, he's in a cast. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not confident. I love our guys. St. Juice, William Fuller III's got to work on it. But McCain, I kind of
William Jackson.
Well, I mean William Jackson, thank you. But there's no name that really scared. Cameron Curl was a guy that kind of, okay, that's my guy. You know what I mean? But there's nobody else that really scares you on that defense. And I mean, look, I think it's going to be a bend but don't break defense. But I think it's going to we're going to have to outscore some teams. I'm going to put it to you like that.
Now you are aware that Chase Young was at I forgot whose camp it was. Yeah. And re-aggravated his injury.
Now, so we talked about that on the show on Wednesday. It wasn't an NFL reporter that did it. It wasn't a Washington reporter that came out with it and all that. It was some kind of random guy. Some of the guys I think it was Klein for Washington. He said, no, that's not true. Or, maybe it's kind of partially true. Like, he did get hurt and he might have re-aggravated, but it wasn't, I don't think it was a specific thing from what we've heard. Like, they might eventually say, it was true, but we talked about that. And it comes down to the fact that they want him to train and rehab in-house, and he going out elsewhere. Because there was a lot of talk in the offseason of him and Von Miller working out together and doing stuff like that. And then
which I had no issue with.
Well, right. But then on the same time, it's kind of like, because it goes back to when we had Sean Taylor, Clinton Porter, Santana Moss. Every offseason, they used to go down to Miami and work out with those guys because they had that connection. And Washington was upset with that. And so if it comes out that it did re-aggravate or, something like that, they're going to be a little upset with that because we've put a lot of stock into Chase Young. I'm going to be very honest. And we really are looking for him to do big things. But one thing I want you to notice, coming into last year, there was a lot of chatter. Montez Sweat, Chase Young. Oh, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. Oh, we ready for the season, yada, yada, yada. Since Chase Young has been out, and I am not saying I don't want him on team. I love him. I need him on team. But since he's been out, I haven't heard it. Haven't heard a thing. It's not from Sweat, not from Payne, none of that. It's been business as usual, and I love that. Let's go. Focus on the season. So I got this 10-7 wild card, getting the 2 victories over Dallas. I'm good. But that also might mean we get swept by Philly. So, there's going to be a trade-off somewhere.
Well, you get also and really quick to add on to that too. I picked 10 wins for Washington because again, I'm just this division the last couple years. I mean, keep it real. It's been mediocre because I think it's just again, it's talent, not on the field. And Washington, the potential is there.
Yeah.
Like this is under Ron Rivera, I expect this to be the year I expect to see something.
Yeah.
Like this is a make or break year for Scott Turner and Jack Del Rio. But to move on to this next team where we're also going to get 2 free wins of is the New York G-Men. Kevon Thibodeau, I hope he's doing well after that dirty hit on him.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm not really expecting much from the New York Giants. I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed. I was disappointed with Kenny Galladay last year. You paid him to be like a number 1 wide receiver. You know it's an issue when you have your offensive linemen have more touchdowns than Kadarius Toney and Galladay combined. That's an issue. You're getting a healthy Saquon Barkley back, which I'm not mad at. I don't know what to expect from this Giant team. I just feel like Daniel Jones is going to be the scapegoat of all the problems. But yes, they do have a new offensive coordinator. I mean, a new head coach in Brian Dabble. Give him credit for developing the Buffalo Bills offense. I think he's going to make Saquon Barkley, Kenny Galladay, Kadarius Toney, and Daniel Jones be better offensively. I'm not saying they're going to be like Eli Manning, Mario Manningham, and those guys, but you're going to see some improvements on the offensive side. Can Saquon stay healthy? Can we get at least 5 touchdowns, from your wide receivers? So they got some pieces on defense. And they got oh my gosh. Wink Martindale, Baltimore last year's defensive coordinator. So he brought Tony Jefferson with him. He brought some guys from Baltimore with him. So they're gonna make him compete. They're gonna make him work. So, what's your thoughts?
No, I agree. This is where I put about 6, maybe 5 and 12. I think they're a year or 2 away if they could keep this thing going. But some moves are going to have to be made. I'm eager to see who he starts and who consistently stays at quarterback. If it's Tyrod who's backing up, or if it is Daniel Jones. Look, that Eli Manningham and those guys, I think this receiving core might be a little bit better. Galladay's got talent, but maybe it's the person who's throwing it to him. You know what I mean? Kadarius Toney, like the court. Daniel Jones, some reason is struggled, and he continues to struggle. So I think the fact that having another veteran quarterback in there might light a fire under him. So it might change some things. But like you said, look, they're still a couple years out. They're gonna have a couple moments where they shine and maybe come in there and upset somebody, or you know what I mean, like. But yeah, I'm right there with you on where they're gonna be.
Yep, definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick 30-second break. We've got the NFC South and the NFC West to break down, but we'll be right back with this 30-second break. Yes, indeedy. Now we move on to the NFC South. Painfully, I only see 2 teams out of this division, and we're going to start with Mr. Dimple Chin himself, Tom Brady's Buccaneers. Sean, talk to me.
They're going to get a win in the first week, I'll tell you that. They're going to beat Dallas. Let's just put that right out there. No, but look. obviously, we know the losses. Antonio Brown's not there. We know Gronk is gone. We know the additions. They got Julio. They got Kyle Rudolph. You know, like, look, they got some solid draft picks and Rashad White. Like, they've got pieces. As long as you got Tom, who doesn't need to practice, you know, and just does his thing, you got a chance. let's right there go there. But part what's going to help them is their division. You know, I'm going to put in, when I say their division, I'm going to say the Panthers, who are going to struggle, but might split one with them, and then the Falcons, who are definitely going to struggle. The Saints have had their number. Like,
Yes.
the Saints, regardless of when they won, the Saints have still been sweeping them. So Tom Brady, until he can get over that hump, it's going to be quite interesting. But we'll talk about the Saints in a little bit. But yeah, so I got them. I got them at this place. I got them as division winner. I got them, you know, being able to coast a little bit towards the end of the year. And yeah, move on far down the list.
I agree with that. You know, the fact that he's still playing at 45 just says something about him, just the greatness of Tom Brady. Even though I've been one of those, I'm ready for the torch to be passed to the younger guys. As long, like you said, as long as he's got weapons around him, he can still throw the ball. But I got some questions with that offensive line. You know,
I do too.
You know, Ryan Jensen's out with a knee injury.
Yep.
I think they lost a couple starters. Why they Tristan Wirfs? Not mistaken. I think was it Tristan?
Wirfs is out too.
Wirfs is out. Like, and one of the guys were Ali Mapert. Ali Mapert.
He out too.
He retired. Like, it was last year. Someone on the offensive line retired last year. I can't remember who it was.
Okay.
I just have questions. You know, Julio Jones. I don't know what to expect from him. I thought I would have seen something in Tennessee. Which Julio are you going to get? Chris Godwin's coming back off an injury. I mean, Tampa Bay is still a respected offense. I mean, it's just I got to see how they all look. You know, like, what's Ryan Jensen going to look like when he comes back? Chris Godwin. Like, I'm happy that Todd Bowles is the head coach. Byron Leftwich, I'm hoping that he gets an opportunity to be the head coach on the team after this year. But you spoke everything in the truth about Tampa. Just gotta see how it all looks, and which transitions us to this next team. Sadly, Mr. Sean Payton will not be the head coach of this team. Really, I'm really hoping he does come back and coach his football. He's one of my favorite coaches. To hear the things, I know he had COVID, and I think mentally, he needed to take a break from the game.
Draining, yeah.
And I really do hope he's doing okay. Well, I'm gonna give you the floor. What do you think the Saints are going to look like this year?
I mean, they lost a lot of pieces, man. They lost a lot more. They lost some Jenkins on the defense. We know, obviously Sean Payton is going. Jameis is coming back, kind of with it. I mean, we'll see what he brings to the table. I'm eager to see Michael Thomas. I want to see, him being back this year. We talked about him last year. Through the word diva around with him. The injury and do I want to play and all this stuff. You know how you erase that? You come on the field and you catch balls. They call him the slant guy or the slant king or whatever. That's fine. Go on the field, make plays, make the plays that made us regard you as one of the best receivers in the league 2 years ago. You know what I mean? So let's bring you back to that. And Alvin Kamara, we know the legal issues. Is he going to play? Is he not? Because that makes a huge, huge difference. But if you don't have Kamara, if you don't have those two guys on the field, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. Cam Jordan's going to do what he does. But the Saints right now, I got them number 2 in the division. I got them stealing some over the Buccaneers as well again. And look, Jameis, if he stays healthy, Jameis can make some things happen. They got did they get Jarvis Landry?
Yes, he did.
That he's going to be. I believe he's going to be one of those sleeper picks. He was solid and definitely the number 1 in Cleveland. And I think he can bring that over here because. If I'm not mistaken, the only other guys they got is Marquez Callaway. They got
now, what's your take on Mr. Chris Olave? I think that was a great pick for the Saints.
Well, I like it. I like that pick. I want to see how he's able to mesh and work well with the system. Like I want to see him get in there and play. But yeah, no, it definitely was a great pick. So
yeah, you pretty much hit it on the head. That defense, they got the Honey Badger. He's back home.
Yes.
Marcus May from the Jets.
Yep.
Like, even though if you look at their salary cap paid for the past couple years,
cap is a lie. I don't know how they work that money, man.
I'm like they had to let go of some guys, but that defense is still. Sean, I think they're going to finish top 5.
Yeah. That's why
I'm gonna put a guarantee on that. I think the New Orleans Saints defense by the end of the season will be a top 5 defense.
Guaranteed.
I can see it. Like I said that before. I said I still think that they're going to sweep Tampa Bay. I still think they have it. And let's remember in that Super Bowl 2 years ago when the Chiefs played the Buccaneers, Honey Badger was all up in Tom Brady's face, getting in jawing back and forth with them. Now they're going to get it 2 times a year. Oh, he's going to be amped up for that.
I can't wait for it.
Oh yeah,
I cannot wait. Let's painfully move on to the 2 teams. We're going to start in the Carolinas. The Carolina Panthers.
Baker.
DJ Moore will have a Pro Bowl year.
Ooh, I like that.
Guaranteed.
I got questions about Christian McCaffrey.
Similar to Saquon?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Can he stay healthy? 1.
Yeah.
I like Baker Mayfield. We've had conversations about this. I'm not a Baker Mayfield apologist, but I thought last year Cleveland rushed him back from that injury. I think they made him the scapegoat of all their issues in Cleveland, and I think that this year, when healthy, now that Brown team before the injuries, they were 500.
Mm-hmm.
When healthy, we see what Baker Mayfield can do. We saw him when he demolished Pittsburgh, and then almost gave it to Matt Moore and Patrick Mahomes in the division round.
Yeah.
So you still got to respect the defense. How it all looks come week 1, but it's going to be interesting because you need a consistent quarterback. Like, I think Sam Darnold showed you flashes, but I don't know what to expect from Carolina. I just don't know what to expect.
I think they're going to bring a top-tier defense in. You talk about top 5. I think they're going to be top 10. I mean, early in the year, they were number 1 ranked defense in the league, and that's without J.C. Horn. They're getting him back. They got their corner system back. Look, I think that defense is going to be legit. When Chris McCaffrey played last year, he made Sam Darnold look elite.
Yes.
If Christian McCaffrey can play with Baker Mayfield, Baker, he's going to get them guys hyped up. Baker is one of these guys that he'll get his boys amped up. He'll run through a wall and then turn around and look at you like, what are you waiting for?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I do agree. And especially if he has Christian McCaffrey there, you can only do well. You got Curtis Moore, DJ Moore. Sorry, he is definitely. I was thinking Curtis Samuel, his buddy that used to be over there. DJ Moore. I agree. He's going to be top tier. I think he's very underrated, and I think he's going to have a blockbuster year. And then you got the other cat, the one that was saying, "I don't want Baker over here." Robbie Anderson. You know what I mean? I think that's going to be the turnaround that nobody's expecting. Robbie and him are going to make magic this year. Yeah. And look, like you said, Darnold, he had them winning a couple games in the beginning. If you keep everybody healthy, you keep that defense going, and you get obviously the number 1, keep Christian McCaffrey healthy, and he has to be dominating. If he returns to form, I might give them 8. I might, but that's a whole lot of ifs. That's a whole lot of ifs that I got to bring to the table. I'm not 100% sold that C-Mac is back, just because that type of injury, when you're dealing with your legs, and that's the type of player he is.
Yep.
Once they go, you don't really they never fully come back to where it was. So
I think it all depends on conditioning and listening to your body. So yeah, I agree with that. And then also too, I talked about this on Let's Talk Football Sunday, and even Let's Talk Football with you and Janae. Carolina's offensive line last year was an eyesore. They got your boy Ikawanu.
Yeah.
And then they robbed Bradley Bozeman from us. Like I see an improvement.
Yeah. They could do some things, man. They could if they bring it all together. Again, that's a big if. But that, like you said, like Aquanu, like Bozeman, they're bringing pieces in there, and they already have kind of a wild card, if you will, in a draw 4, like Anthony likes to say, in Christian McCaffrey. So, and then you bring in an ace in Baker, who Baker's better than Darnold. Period. Right. Baker has flair. I'm a huge Baker fan, and I'm with you. I got on him last year because when you're not playing well on Sunday, and then I see you in a commercial on Monday, I can get a little upset. But I can't. In hindsight, the man's making his money. I ain't mad at you, and you're in Cleveland trying to do what you can with all that. So, but I think they go. Look, I think they have the potential to do some things and shock the world at 8 and 9. But other than, if I'm just going to go straight, just looking at it straight, I'm with you on this one.
Got you. Definitely. Let's move on to the team that blew a 28-3 lead a few Super Bowls ago, the Atlanta Falcons. I'm sorry, Anthony Handy and Kyle Yatesy. I apologize to you, brothers.
Wow.
Desmond Ridder will break a single season Atlanta Falcon record.
Guaranteed.
I don't know what that is, but I feel like he's going to break a record. I feel like
Desmond Ridder, disclaimer.
I feel like he will bring a single season record.
Wow. Yeah.
Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Cordell Patterson. I mean, like, help me. Like, you got Marcus Mariota now. You moved on from Matt Ryan.
Right.
Now I can see what the identity is trying to be in Atlanta. On the defensive side of the ball, other than AJ Terrell.
Yeah. And Casey Hayward.
This is their building project.
They got the best young corners in the league. I'll give them that. But as far as everything else, I mean, let's see what that high-powered offense can do. I just think it's going to be some growing pains with that transition. Getting Mariota in there, and who they got the Saints first, right? So
yeah,
them and the Saints normally kind of go back and forth with it. I think the Falcons. I think their overall total is like 54 to the Falcons and 52 to the Saints. You know what I mean? So it's a back and forth thing. I think they might start off pretty decent. I think they might start off pretty solid, but that long run, I think it's going to hurt them. I think it's going to hurt them. I think Ridder might get in midway through the season and get some action in there, and we'll see. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, we'll see. Well, I mean, I don't. If Cordero Patterson is your number one running back, I think you might got to reconsider some things. You might have to reconsider some things because I love him, and I think great multi-position athlete. He can do it all, but you need a true running back, or do you just run all wide receiver sets? Like, you got to do something because it's not working. You can't be balanced with him. He's not Debo, so. He's the if if Debo is daggone Amazon, he's daggone Kmart, bro. Like he's not Debo. He's not. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude to the man, but shout out to Cordero. He's a cool cat. He's solid, but he ain't. Stats might say another story though. I don't know.
I'm with you on it. I don't know what to really expect, honestly and truthfully. It's disappointing because like they have so much potential, and I think they should have been rebuilding a couple years ago. And I think they're late to the party, but I think they realize now we got to just rebuild for the future. You hit a nail on the head. Let's move on to the NFC West, which I think it's going to be a bloodbath. Not really necessarily. That's the AFC West. This is the opposite of that. We're going to start with the team that is the reigning Super Bowl champions. Mm-hmm. That is the St. Louis Rams. No, I'm just kidding. Los Angeles Rams. I mean, it was one game, and I expect the Rams to pretty much keep it the same. You're getting Bobby Wagner. He's a new addition to the team. You still got Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald. Matthew Stafford, give them in our receiving core, Vaughn Jefferson, Allen Robinson, time to adjust to another Higbee. Now, I did have a question for Sean McVay. Why did you not have Cam Akers out there?
Oh, my God.
I saw him.
He didn't get a lot of touches.
Yeah, I wasn't as sold on Cam Akers as you and a lot of people might have been. Like with those injuries for me, it struggled.
I mean, I'm not sold on, but if you had Henderson should have been your number one guy then if that was the case, because he was kind of raved about like he's going to rush for 2,000 yards, and they only see him touch the ball 3 times. Either there's lack of confidence, or maybe the lights were just too bright.
I don't know. I mean, look, Akers played decent in the playoffs a year ago, but then he had some fumbles. A lot of times, people don't give you that many more chances as a running back if you have fumbles. And that's one of those things that's not a coaching. Like I can coach you on how to hold the ball right, but if you're in the action and you're in the moves, you're doing something, and you fumble the ball, I know from experience that stays in your craw. That's not easy to just be forgetful. So, I don't know if that was the issue, but I mean, maybe there might have been. I know Henderson was in there as well. Well, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, that was his first loss. You know what I mean? And that was the first time. That was his first season opening loss. That was the first time that he's ever in his entire career, McVay, I'm talking about, having an under 500 record. Like, you know what I mean? But there are certain games that he has struggled with. He can't beat Shanahan. He can't beat that powerful offense. And look, McDermott has that kind of fast-paced, great quarterback, great running game, solid D, and they really shut him down. But like I said, OBJ, I think that's going to be an interesting loss. Let's see how long Van Jefferson is out for. I don't think I overreaction. Friday, the day after, or now it's Saturday. I don't think that it's going to play long term. I think they'll be able to work it out and make it back to the playoffs. I don't see repeat though. I agree. Repeat. So.
I definitely agree with that. Let's move on. Let's go into the desert. Those Arizona Cardinals. I'll give you the floor on this one.
Look, beginning of the summer, we're talking about Kyler removing Arizona from social media and, not talking, I don't like Arizona and I'm blah, 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 blah. Then after all that, you get through the draft, you get midway through and he gets this huge extension and now everything's rosy. Listen, I had him on my fantasy team the last couple years and he can't finish a season. He has middle of the season, he gets hurt and it stinks. We know his ability. We know his arm. We know his mobility. But like towards the end of last year, it falls apart at some point. They had a solid team. I mean, come on now. They did not have DeAndre. They didn't have him for a good period of time, but you still got AJ Green. You still got Rondale Moore. You got James Conner, who is one of the most top running backs as far as getting touchdowns. You know, Chandler Jones on defense. You know, Watt. You have players, and you should be doing so much better. They are what we saw the Rams do. You get all these stud players in these positions, and you win. You know, but the thing is, the Cardinals don't seem to win. Like, they went 8-0 last year and barely made the playoffs. So I mean, this is optimistic for me here. I mean, I think 10-7 is optimistic because I just think it might be something else going on in house. Now they might show up. They might do this because they still have a solid team. But without DeAndre Hopkins this year, the true big number one, we're gonna have to see how this thing plays out. But it's on Kyler. I think this year it's on Kyler, but he's got his money. So the history on guys getting their money and then playing, maybe that's one of the reasons why Lamar. Not getting into Lamar, but maybe that's one of the reasons why he's not. So he wants to keep that hunger because once you've been eating, you saw what happened to Zeke. Zeke got big, and then now Zeke is a shell of himself. So.
Yep, it's definitely gonna be interesting to see what that offense looks like, especially now that you also got your college teammate and Marquise Brown.
Right. No, sorry, man. I didn't want to mention it.
No, that's okay. Zach Ertz, that offense is, but like you said, we expected the Cardinals to be what I was expecting better last year, and they really disappointed.
Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Yep. They are who we thought they were.
Yep.
R.I.P. Denny Green.
Yep. Yes, sir. I'm gonna give you the floor on this next team in the Bay Area. Those Niners, those 49ers.
Yeah. Yeah. I got them right around here, maybe a little 9-8. I think that quarterback issue is going to be a bigger problem. I think my number one motto is if not broke, don't fix it. I'm a Jimmy G fan. I know people are like, oh, well, he gets hurt. Yeah, well, he wins as well. So, I get it. You drafted this guy. But it's like everybody thinks that since you draft this guy, that now you're telling everybody this is what you want to do. Instead of just being like, hey, maybe I want to draft a guy so I have a guy behind my guy.
Yep. You
know what I mean? It would be perfect if Jimmy G gets hurt and then Lance can come in. But now you're giving Lance the reins. And I think that's going to struggle. I think it's similar to what happened with Tua. You had Fitzpatrick in that year in Miami a couple years back and was dominating. Yep. And then with a winning record, they took out Fitzpatrick for Tua because they wanted to work for the future. And now everybody's getting on Tua. But it's funny because at that time, everybody was like, oh, man, you got to bring in the future. You got to bring in the future. Yeah. So,
I remember.
Look. You don't got to listen to what these people are saying, man. You do what works for you. Yeah. I think they should have kept Jimmy G, and now it's a funky situation where he wanted out, and then now he stayed back, and I think he at that place where you just like, okay, right. I'm not what you want from me? I'm not doing nothing. You got your boy. I'm here. All I did was take you to a Super Bowl, and we're 6 minutes away from winning it. All I did was bring you back to the NFC Championship. After we almost didn't even make it to the playoffs, we had to beat the eventual champions to get to the playoffs. And then we had the lead in the fourth quarter of the playoffs, and you still going to replace me. Cool. I see how we doing things around here. Check. I got my check.
I'm good.
Right. Mm-hmm. I would sit back with the hoodie on and just be like, yep. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Jimmy? I think you should ask Trey. He's your quarterback.
And that honestly should be his attitude going into the season, because you said it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Mm-hmm. We all know George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, and Dabo Samuel. Ayuk, thank you. We all know they're going to bring it every night. I just questioned John Lynch. You made it clear it's because they were like, oh, Trey's the guy, and you couldn't find someone to trade for Jimmy G. Can see what that is. Last team for the NFC, and I'm going to give you the floor on this one as well. The era is officially over. It's a new dawn, new era in Seattle. The Seattle Seahawks. Give me your outlook. What do you think? How do you think they'll look this year?
Yeah, I got 7-10. That's what I got. I got them winning 7 games. I think they might pull off an upset for the first one, maybe. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think it is against the Broncos. But look, Geno's getting the start this year. They got my guy Kenneth Walker after Chris Carson retired. I'm loving that. Look, we still got DJ Metcalf. You still got Lockett. You still got some weapons. Now, after Russell Wilson leaves, you get no line, which actually goes to your point about, you've always talked about, the quarterback, when he's the number one highest paid player on the team, then you lose out on money that could be going potential elsewhere to help your team. And I think that's what shows. So I actually think Seattle might. I think they're going to play. I think they're going to shock some people. They're going to punch some people in the mouth this year. And I think this is about right. Seven wins. I think they can get some victories against some teams that, like we say with Chicago, they're going to be overlooking them. Who is let's see, Seattle. They don't have Russell. They're not da-da-da. They still have DK, still a monster. You know what I mean? Lockett is still solid. You know what I mean? I think Kenneth Walker and some of those guys. I think watch out, man. Watch out for them. We'll see what they do, but yeah.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. It's a new era. Pete Carroll's still there. I think he's going to guide them through that rebuild. Now we get to see what Pete Carroll could do with again. He got the Legion of Boom. Now I'm curious to see how he looks developing this young team for the future.
I'm eager to see. I don't know how much longer he got on his. And now I'm not trying to get rid of him, but I think things might have passed him by. Not passed. He's had his success in college. Yeah. He's had his success in the pros. You're hanging on. I feel like this is a little Jordan with the Wizards right now. Like, you've had success. Maybe if you can bring them back, more power to you. They'll say you're a genius, but he's not the same young guy that he was at USC with Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush, and even with the Legion of Boom. You know what I mean? And I guarantee it was a lot that was taken out of him when he decided to go for a pass on the 1 yard line with Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. Yeah. I know that took several years off his life.
I still haven't recovered from that. Yeah. I look at that. I look at that play like every so often. I just sit there and like,
ridiculous. Ridiculous.
But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude the episode. Sean will be back when we do the AFC preview. Ladies and gentlemen, be tuned in for future episodes. Like I said, be tuned in for the AFC preview. Maryland football. We play SMU. Preview that and also painfully recap the win against Buffalo. Just be tuned in for those videos. Brendan Potts will be on the show tomorrow evening for the WNBA. Just be tuned in for those episodes coming down the pipe. But my closing message, actually, you know what? No, I'm going to give you the floor on this one. What is your closing message, Mr. Spencer, sir?
The worrying is worse than the doing. A lot of times we psych ourselves out of doing things that we probably should do because we're so worried if people are going to like it, if we're going to do well, if it's going to work, yada, yada, yada. The worrying is worse than the doing. A lot of times you just got to get in there. On Tuesday on the round table, I said, ain't nothing to it but to do it. So that's it. Don't worry about it. Just go ahead and do it. The worst that can happen is you fail or you mess up or whatever. But a lot of times, even if you do it and fail, then you're kind of like, well, look, I know what worked up to a spit, or I know what didn't work. Mm-hmm. There you go. Now you're one step closer to getting where you need to be. So the worrying is worse than the doing.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm going to add on to that. I would also say push yourself to be better. I understand there'll be bumps in the road, but don't be afraid to, like you said, go from here to here, because sky's the limit. You and I always talk about the road to greatness. It's just a little bit of traffic. Mm-hmm. Just if you stay focused, keep your eye on the prize, good things are bound to happen. So Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude the episode. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good night. Peace out, ladies and gentlemen. Stay out.
But I get sick of these guys complaining. These young guys, they never call us and say, when a coach is wrong, I'm going to call him out. But when players are wrong, I'm going to call them out. Thanks for the kind words. But listen, I'm going to criticize guys if they deserve it. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode and you want to see more content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bring your sports game on Big Nate Sports Talk.